So that was a lot of food. Super good place here in New York City. Beyond Sushi. If you're ever in town, definitely check it out. How much for the Rolex?
Yeah, Rolex watch?
How much?
50.
$50?
Yeah, this is automatic, good one.
Okay, I'll be back, okay?
You coming?
All right, now I'm at 368. I'm about to head upstairs and meet my friend John. We're about to make a sick video. What's up, man?
Oh, just chilling in the club.
Jonah Hill. How many times do people call you Jonah Hill?
It happened a lot growing up just because I look so much like him.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Every time I had a skate park come out there, people would be like, the top comment was always, oh, I thought it was Jonah Hill.
Today we're gonna be doing a video about the frequently asked questions on veganism. You ready, dog?
Might as well.
Dude, I get so many questions about veganism. Some of them I think are legit questions. Some of them I don't know. But I made like a little list of like the most frequently asked questions that I'm getting from people who are interested in going vegan. First one is probably the most common question vegans get, and it's, where do you get your protein?
Oh, it's easy.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, dude. For me, I usually just try to eat like cow, chicken,
stuff
like that.
A little bit of dog too, because that's actually like super high in protein.
Right. When you, I was gonna go into it, but I'm not. Okay, I'll be honest. When it comes to protein, I don't know. I really just eat like the same standard meal. I haven't seen a nutritionist, and I probably should. I should probably call you about that, actually.
That's actually the best answer though that you just gave me. It's like, I just eat food, because every single food out there has protein.
Oh, okay, good. Then I'm doing it right.
Yeah,
because I'm eating a lot of food.
Yeah, as long as people are eating enough.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I have this morning shake where I basically just have a ton of fruit and like 3 bananas and like almond milk and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it seems like everything I eat is healthy, but I don't know the specific amount of protein that's going into each meal. And it's definitely something that I want to try and be more conscious of, because I want to absorb the right amount, which I don't even know which that is yet. So I'm a pretty uninformed vegan in that sense. There's like a few things that I'm like, I almost feel bad answering, like that one. I feel bad answering the one like, how much better do you feel as a vegan? Because I'm like, I kind of feel the same. Yeah. I've always exercised a lot, so it feels kind of the same to me.
I mean, there is like the mathematical answer is it's 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. So you could do the math, you could run that. That's what's healthy for you. If you're weightlifting, maybe a little bit more is probably the best, but yeah, I just wanted to make the point, like it's so easy getting protein on a vegan diet, and you look at all the animals that are vegan, like cows, and they're huge animals, big and strong. So I think that about does it for that one. Let's move on. Why are you vegan? Like what are some of the reasons why you're even vegan?
I think for me, the biggest thing is it's hard to explain this, but I think there's a separation in your mind from like what you see, what you eat, what you buy, all that stuff is like very separated. And then for me, at a certain point, I think for a lot of vegans, there's this point where the separation goes away. So in your head, you think like, oh, cute dog, cute cow, cute animals, food. And luckily, not luckily, well, yeah, I would say sometimes it's lucky that there is that separation, because your brain's like, I don't have to think about pain and torture, and you can just eat. But for some people like me, one day it just clicked and I like couldn't look at my steak or any meat at all without thinking of this chicken being like, cha, cha, or this cow being like stabbed and stuff. And I was like, oh no. I was like, the separation, it's gone. So from then on, I just couldn't eat meat, knowing that.
Yeah, just being more conscious of your decisions and like how it impacts those around you, the animals, as well as the environment. Something that most people don't think about as much is like the food you eat definitely impacts the environment. For me, I actually found veganism through health. I just was looking back in 2011, 2012. I was just watching a ton of documentaries, looking into like the benefits of healthy food like fruits and vegetables. And then one day I just found out that a plant-based diet can actually be healthy for you, in addition to like, you know, it's great for the animals like you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, the farther down that rabbit hole you go, the more you'll want to maintain veganism.
Do you have any tips on like the best way transitioning to a vegan diet? Or maybe you could share like how you even did it.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably explain my way. I never really know. I don't feel comfortable ever saying like, oh, this is the best way, because maybe it's not. But for me, it was just about going vegetarian. And then once I went down that avenue, I realized how easy it was to be vegetarian. It's like one of the easiest things ever. And then just from there, staying on that diet, and then you get more interested in your health and your diet. So you sort of take whatever next step, and it's easy. You start taking these small steps towards like, oh, this would be a better diet. This is better for the environment. This is better for the world. And you start feeling like this power in a sense, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna take the next step. And usually for me, so I would just recommend going vegetarian first, seeing how well you maintain with that, watching documentaries, being informed in some way. Ironically, I don't know anything about protein, trying to be informed at least. And then I think it would just come natural.
Yeah, for sure. I actually followed a very similar path too. I went vegetarian first for a little while. I was like, this is easy, you know, not too bad. And then I got rid of, I think, what was the last animal product I think I had? It must have been like eggs or something. Still getting enough protein. So yeah, take baby steps. No need to rush into it, and just educate yourself. Watch the documentaries, look up the plant-based doctors out there, and do your research. Right on.
Besides the occasional stroke, I feel great, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Diabetes, right?
Yeah, just a little diabetes.
Another common concern people have is about vitamin B12.
Right.
Do you supplement, and like, what are your thoughts? Maybe if you even have any about B12?
Let me tell you my thoughts. What is vitamin B12? It's an essential vitamin necessary for healthy nerve tissue. Man, I feel like it's pretty important.
You never heard that before?
I don't even know what it is.
Really?
I
Okay.
really don't.
Many times it's used as an argument against veganism because it's not in plants. Thing is, technically, animals don't like create B12 either. B12 is made from the bacteria that animals consume. So because like how washed, clean, and sanitized like our agricultural system is these days, there are no real healthy bacteria on our food. And plus, when we get our food too, we wash it, we make sure it's sparkly clean. We don't eat it like with the dirt, which you shouldn't really. Like, nobody wants to eat food with dirt. But that's a reason why we're not getting B12 as like an animal would out in nature. I would definitely say supplement with B12.
What does that look like? When you supplement for B12?
Yeah, so you could take it like as a spray or like a little pill or something.
As a spray? Like
just like a little spray on their tongue. And it's not just vegans that should supplement with vitamin B12. Actually, many adults, like over the age of 50, are at higher risk for vitamin B12 deficiency, even if they eat meat. Anybody could have a vitamin B12 deficiency, so like my recommendations are definitely supplementing.
For anyone, they should supplement.
Yeah, absolutely. Is honey vegan?
I don't know. I've actually never thought about it. I mean, I don't eat honey.
Yeah.
Because technically it comes from an animal.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, it's vomit, right?
Yeah,
it's just,
exactly.
It's just bird vomit or bee vomit. Yeah, I mean, there's certain things I don't eat because of that reason, just because to me it's gross.
Right.
Like the idea of bee vomit to me is like, well, that's kind of nasty, so.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people think bugs are kind of gross.
Right.
And then they'll go and consume honey and like not make the connection.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That connection.
I would say there's a lot of other sweeteners out there if you want to go for a sweetener, like maple syrup, agave, molasses.
Yeah, I think if you're trying to be a clean, I think if you're trying to be a clean vegan, then honey would not be vegan.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh man, this next one's more like a comment, but the whole plants have feelings too. Like, what's your reaction to that?
I don't know for sure, but it doesn't seem like plants have feelings. I guess I don't know for sure, right? But it's a reasonable question.
Because, you know, like people will say that like when like they hear vegans like saying like, you know, veganism is like an ethical way, like you don't harm animals and stuff, and people will bring up either like jokingly or maybe seriously about like plants are living creatures too, and they probably have feelings too, and they don't want to technically die. Which I don't want to like make fun of like anyone who's using that seriously. Like seriously concerned, but I mean, when I step on grass outside, like I don't hear the grass screaming. I really don't feel bad about stepping on plants as I would stepping on like a puppy or something.
Yeah, and isn't there like scientific proof that plants, like certain plants are made for certain animals? Like, isn't there proof that there is this thing? There isn't. I don't think there's been like super proof that certain animals are actually meant for certain animals to eat, like, or at least for us to eat. Like, all animals aren't actually invented for us to eat, but certain plants, aren't they technically in motion like, for certain animals?
Exactly, like certain animals are designed to eat just specific types of foods.
It seems really silly, yes. It seems silly in the context of like, I think anyone can see an animal and find a lot of correlation on how we operate and how we exist and how the very primal feelings that humans feel are the same primal feelings that animals feel. I think anyone can make that connection, and then immediately I think anybody should be able to make the connection that plants don't have those primal instinct feelings. They don't have the pain receptors that we have as well. I mean, animals react exactly like we do on almost every single account in every way, except they don't yell our words, I guess, or language, right?
Exactly.
But neither do Chinese people. They don't yell English, so.
I don't know. I think like in order to gain life, you have to like kill in one aspect. It's just like the world we live in, and that reflects on like humans eating plants as well. If that kind of makes sense, like you have to always kill something in order to sustain life?
I do like that question. I like that question because I think there should be like a very distinct answer on why that isn't bad in comparison to why eating animals is bad. I don't have the answer. So I mean, that is, I think that's a good question. In my head, I'm kind of stumped. I like things that seem very obvious, but if you can't explain it, then somebody should explain it.
Next question, what is wrong with dairy and eggs? Because like you can technically get it without killing an animal, right? That's what vegetarians are, is they'll eat dairy and eggs. Do you have any thoughts on that? Or maybe like you could explain why you gave those things up to go fully vegan?
Right. I think for me, it was like not eating anything that has anything to do with like coming out of an animal in any way, or that like, they'd have to sacrifice for. And with cows, I just can't imagine the process of milking every cow for the sake of all of humanity to be fun. But I also am a pretty firm believer that any mom's milk is meant specifically for their child. So I think, with cows, it's for their baby. Like naturally, scientifically, in every way, it's meant specifically for their calf. So it just seems weird that I'm drinking their milk. I mean, it really is like your mom's breastfeeding, just feeding milk to a bunch of random animals. Like that would be very, in my opinion, that'd be very strange. And I think it is very strange that we drink cow milk. Well, like everyone's lactose intolerant. People don't know that, but I think like it's seriously like 40 to like 60% of Asians are all lactose intolerant.
Yeah,
I think that's like, okay, well, I mean, at least to a little extent, right? Like it makes you kind of irritable, it makes you like whatever. It affects you in some small way. I think that's just because you're not putting something that you're supposed to put in your body.
Exactly. Yeah, that's well said. Most of the world is lactose intolerant. Like, I think Caucasians might be the least, but still, it doesn't mean like Caucasians are designed to eat dairy. I mean, you just look at the big picture and none of it makes sense at all. Eggs, my thoughts are, I mean, technically, they're chicken periods is what they are. And also eggs, I don't know if you know this, but eggs are like the highest source of cholesterol. So it's definitely not good for heart disease and just your cardiovascular system. Yeah, and like neither of them makes sense to me. And
I think with all these subjects, I mean, I want to be more informed about all this as well. Yeah. And I think that's the important thing, is trying to find the the realist answer of all these problems. And I think the cool thing about veganism, sometimes it can definitely make people feel a little big-headed and like they're too powerful or something. But the thing that's most interesting with me going down this avenue is just trying to find the truth outside of tradition. I think we're all so deeply embedded into it that we just, well, some people are going to go their whole lives without ever thinking outside of whatever was marketed towards them their whole lives. And they're just going to be like basically exactly what companies wanted them to be to buy their product, etc. I think it's really fun to try to think outside of the tradition and figure out what's right and what's wrong. Even if one day we realize that some of what we're saying is wrong, I think that's okay. I mean, that's perfectly okay. If we need to, I don't know, I guess just live the best life for the planet. But yeah, I just don't think humans are as important as they think they are.
Also, like one more thing I wanted to touch upon, like the dairy and like the eggs question. Many of the animals that are raised for dairy and eggs, they're not treated ethically. So like most of the dairy and eggs people are consuming, those lead to like animals being like essentially slaughtered.
Totally.
You know, and like stuck in like confined places and stuff like that. So that's something I definitely wouldn't support.
Yeah, it's still a part of the process of torture and killing and all that stuff. And and things being enslaved in a way that doesn't make any sense. Right. It doesn't really make sense why they would all need to be, why we need 100 billion cows and pigs to die every year. It doesn't really make sense.
Right. So just get bananas instead. The last one is that humans are omnivores. This one is really interesting. Yeah. I don't know if you have like any particular thoughts on it, because that's like a common argument I'll get on my channel. It's like, humans are omnivores. They're not designed to eat just plants.
It's hard. I mean, I've heard, all I know is what the arguments that I've heard, but I haven't really taken my stance on like what I believe to be true or not. Yeah. I mean, I've heard people say that we're not. I've heard, what do you believe that we are or that we're not?
Certainly I've heard like both answers that we are, that we're not, even like from vegans as well. It's like such a mix like answer. So in my opinion, I think the way humans look like physically, I mean, you look at our hands, like we don't have like huge claws. like nothing like on us that is like screaming like I'll murder you.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you look at like a lion or I don't know, a shark or something, like even our teeth are like flat like cows, and the fact that we can move our jaws like side to side, I think that's a feature of like a plant animal. Okay. So just the way like we're
So do you think there's anything about us? So you think we're herbivores or omnivores?
I think definitely towards herbivores.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. Just because like all of our different features.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that was the argument that I saw as well. It was basically just explaining that there's nothing really about us that is to, I mean, I don't know. It depends what you follow, evolution, etc. But yeah, I mean, evolutionarily, I mean, like, you know, a lot of people think that we are the thing that we're naturally would be doing if we weren't humans who took over the world, is like sucking bone marrow out of bones. Like that would be our talent. And that's, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I think like, yeah, if you look at evolution, like meat definitely played a huge role in like our survival. I would think of it as more like a like backup fuel, like in a sense, like when humans couldn't get plants, like when they were doing their gardens or harvesting or whatever, they would have to out of necessity do what they could to survive. And that meant like killing an animal and eating it. Yeah. But I just feel like in modern times where we have like supermarkets and like that argument just, it doesn't really apply to us. When you look at nutrition, right? Like it's all in a plant-based diet.
But standing back, yeah, of course, to me, it seems like we're more
that makes sense.
Herbivore-ish.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Cool, man. Yeah, those were basically it. Do you have anything to add to the fine folks out there who are interested in going vegan?
Yeah, totally, dude. Subscribe to my channel. I'm just kidding.
John Hill.
Yeah, I don't know. I just reiterate what I said earlier. I think it's just fun to think about things outside of tradition and what's taught to you. I mean, there's a lot of information out there about a lot of interesting things that a lot of big companies will hurt severely if, you know, if everybody became vegan tomorrow. Of course, it seems like a beautiful idea, but just imagine how many companies, how many people would go out of business, how much, you know, but I think heading that way is probably better for the environment, but also humans are very ego-centered. So usually the ideas that you have that were implemented from some companies and the traditions taught to you are based on someone's ego out there who wanted to sell a product and created your whole brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's just best to try to think, sit back, see what makes sense, like really think about what makes sense for the better of everything. Think about the animals. I don't know. They're great. They're great things.
I love them.
They're awesome, dude. And also, yeah, if you want, just watch, you ever watch Gentle Barn videos? Gentle Barn is a animal sanctuary in California, and they have one in Tennessee. But they have a video basically about this cow. I think it's called Dudley. It is impossible to watch without crying hysterically. Wow. Last night I watched it, and I wasn't going like, I was like sobbing, and I had to like stop it, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh man.
What's the story about a cow who basically lost its leg? The cow felt bad, took it to the sanctuary, they healed the cow, et cetera, et cetera. But it's like, dude, anyways, but when you watch that, if you feel any emotional connection to it, that's when you should stand back and say, what is that? Why do I feel this way? Why do I care about this cow when I can eat meat all day and I don't care at all? And it's just that separation of mind and practice. Yeah, I mean, I definitely need to research some more. I need to learn everything I can about nutrition at this point in my life, I feel like.
I just think there's so much to know, and I think the questions are great. Keep them coming, of course.
Oh, definitely.
You know, I'm happy to help and get awesome people like John to share their perspective on things, but definitely check out his channel. Where can people find you, dude?
YouTube.com/John Hill. So it's pretty much John Hill on everything. Twitter, John Hill too, but John Hill.
And aren't you starting a whole like New York-based vegan channel? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so actually I mean, it's probably up by now, but yeah, it's a second channel all about the authentic voices of New York City. But I definitely want to create a show within that channel about the New York vegan restaurants, because there's so many here. It's the best place in America to live in if you're a vegan. So I want to explore that. So with this remote, you have to hold this down right here the whole time, right? So, and then the amount that you scroll this is the amount that it moves. Yeah, see, oh, there you go, yeah. He's doing it! I know, he'd be Casey. Wow, New York looks really cool behind him, actually. This is art. Yeah! Get some! See, it's not so bad, huh?
Yeah, that's awesome.
There you go.
You're like Casey Neistat. All right, well, it was awesome hanging with you guys, and I'll let you know next time in NYC, man.
See you on the flippity flop.
Yeah, get it, guys. Good luck with everything.